Today's story is full of drama and action. It's the kind of thing that you see in the movies. Last week we talked about Peter. Peter was put in prison for talking about Jesus. Our story today takes place many years later, but the same thing, it's still happening. A man named Paul was put in prison because he believed in Jesus and was telling everyone about him. Paul was put in prison for talking about Jesus. Did you know that in other countries that still happens? We're very blessed. We get to live in America where we can talk about Jesus, but in other places all around the world, you can still be put in jail for talking about Jesus. In today's story, Paul and several other prisoners were put on a boat to head to Italy, where they would stand trial. They had to go to another country so they could be judged. There were a lot of different people on the boat. The Bible tells us there were 276 people all traveling together on this boat. The trip, it started out okay. The water was calm and the boat was sailing smoothly. But very soon, strong winds started blowing, and it was hard to keep the ship on course. They tried to stay in the middle of the sea so they wouldn't crash into the land when the wind blew. They sailed very slowly and tried to stop at one place, but the wind, it blew them to another place. They struggled against the wind, trying not to crash into the coast. Have you ever been caught in a really bad storm? Maybe you were riding in your car and it started to rain really hard and there was thunder and lightning. Maybe you were at your house when a bad storm came and everything got really dark and cold. How did you feel? Storms can be really scary. The people traveling in this boat, they were really scared too. By now, their journey had taken longer than it should have. They had sailed to quite a few places in the Mediterranean Sea, and they had seen lots of storms. It was late fall, and more storms would be coming. It was a very dangerous time to travel. So Paul, he had an idea. He said, "Everyone, I think if we go on, we'll be in trouble. We might shipwreck and lose cargo and put our lives in danger. Let's stop here." Since Paul was just a prisoner, the officer in charge of the prisoners decided not to listen to him. Instead, he listened to the ship's captain and kept going. They were in a harbor that was a bad place to spend the winter, so they decided to keep going. That's when things got really bad. They pulled up anchor and started sailing along the shore again, but then the wind changed into a typhoon. The ship was blown out to sea. The waves were so high, some of the sailors got aboard the lifeboat behind the ship so they could tie ropes around the base of the ship to make it stronger. The next day they set sail again, but the winds and waves were so strong. The crew tried to make the ship lighter by throwing cargo overboard, but it didn't work. They even threw over important ship's gear, but nothing was helping. Listen to how bad things were. In the Bible in Acts 27:20, it says, "When neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and no small tempest lay on us, all hope of our being saved was at last abandoned. The storm raged on, everyone was scared and hungry." But guess what happened? Then God sent an angel to Paul to give him an encouraging message. What does the word encouragement mean? If someone gives you an encouraging message, what kind of message is that? Encouragement is the action of giving someone support, confidence, or hope. It's like cheering somebody up or uplifting them or kind of giving them a boost to make them feel better. God knew Paul needed to be encouraged, so he sent an angel with some really good news. The angel said, "Paul, don't be afraid. You'll get to Italy and stand trial. In fact, God will keep everyone on your boat safe." That's what happened in the Bible. After God encouraged Paul, Paul told the rest of the passengers about God's encouragement. Paul told everyone not to be afraid, and he said that although the ship would go down, everyone would be safe. But the storm, it wasn't over. In fact, the boat was blown so close to the shore that when they measured it, the water was only 90 feet deep. It wouldn't be long before they crashed into the rocks. It was night, and with the clouds covering the moon, it was so dark, they prayed for daylight. They also tried to abandon ship. They lowered lifeboats to get on them, but Paul told them if anyone got off the boat, they would die. So they cut the lifeboats away, and they stayed right on that ship. As the day dawned, Paul told everyone to eat. They hadn't eaten in 2 weeks, and they were getting very weak. He reminded them not to worry because no one was going to die. Paul knew God gave him an encouraging message that he needed to share with others. After eating, they threw all the extra food overboard to lighten the ship even more. As the sun rose higher, they saw a beach, and they thought maybe they could crash the ship into it. But they hit a pile of rocks underwater and crashed the ship too early. The soldiers wanted to kill the prisoners so they wouldn't swim to shore and escape, but the commanding officer said no. So everyone swam or held on to pieces of wood from the broken ship and floated safely to shore. God told Paul his plan to keep everyone safe, and Paul passed on that encouragement by telling the others on the boat. When we face scary times like Paul did, it's easy to focus on our fears. But God, He's always with us, and we can turn to Him for encouragement, that big word we're learning today. The Bible is full of encouraging verses. Here's just a few verses that can help us when we are scared or stressed or it feels like something bad is happening. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you. Isaiah 43:2. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who has made heaven and earth. Psalms 121, verses 1 and 2. Think of these Bible verses or something encouraging you know about God. Maybe something you've learned about Him. Just like Paul encouraged the people on the ship, we can encourage others by sharing that good news with them. Your homework is to encourage someone right now. This one's going to be super easy, guys. Kids, if you are watching this video, you have someone in your life that loves you very, very much. They are making you watch this video because they love God and they want you to know God's love too. That's a really big deal. So right now, I want you to go give a hug to whoever played this video for you and tell them they're doing a really good job. Until next time, have a great week. We're praying for you.